All right, here's the quick version so you know exactly what blew up on the sideline. During Sunday's Chiefs versus Giants matchup, cameras caught a tense exchange between Travis Kelce and Coach Andy Reid on the Kansas City sideline. It wasn't just words. There was a visible shove and a brief physical bump that had everybody in the stadium and online doing double takes. The moment came in the heat of the game and instantly turned into one of those sideline clips that spreads fast. You, as a fan, saw what everyone else saw. Kelce animated, clearly fired up, and Reid stepping in. For a team that's used to seeing those two locked in a tight, almost familial bond, the visuals stood out. Whether it's frustration with a call, a play that didn't go right, or simply the emotion of the moment, it read as higher octane than your average sideline disagreement. That's why this clip went from a 5-second moment to the top of the conversation in Chiefs Nation. Now here's the key thing to keep in mind. These exchanges happen in football. Coaches and star players push each other constantly because both want the same outcome, winning. But the physical part of this interaction is what raised eyebrows. Some outlets reported the bump and used terms like heated and physical, which is why people started wondering if this was purely passion or something more concerning. Before we jump to conclusions, there's also official posture from the team. Shortly after, Coach Reid and the Chiefs attempted to downplay the drama and act like it was standard sideline edge. Reid's public comments leaned toward minimizing the exchange and telling people not to make too much of it, a common move after a hot moment on camera. That doesn't stop fans from debating it, though. Quick interaction for you right now. I want to know your read. Was this just the heat of the moment? Or should the team be worried about leadership friction? Type passion or concern in the comments below so we can pin the top responses. And if you're into real unfiltered Chiefs takes like this, hit subscribe. We're trying to grow the crew to 5,000 passionate fans who keep the conversation going. Also, drop a like if you want me to dig deeper into reactions and locker room fallout. Let's break down exactly what led to that moment on the sideline, because context is everything. Football isn't just about X's and O's. It's about the emotions that build up play after play. And when you've got a competitor like Travis Kelce, every snap carries weight. The confrontation happened right after a sequence where the offense stalled and frustration boiled over. Kelce had just come off the field, visibly upset, and he went straight toward Andy Reid. The cameras caught it instantly. You could see Kelce's body language intense, hands moving, and then that quick bump into his head coach. It wasn't a lingering scuffle, but it was enough to make people stop and say, "Whoa, that's different. Now let's be real." Travis Kelce has always been one of the most passionate players on the field. You've seen him spike the ball, jaw with defenders, and fire up the crowd at Arrowhead. That same passion is part of why Chiefs Kingdom loves him. But on the sideline, when emotions are unchecked, it can cross into moments like this one. And in this case, the heat of the Giants game made the difference. It's also worth pointing out that Andy Reid has been around the game for decades. He's coached fiery personalities before, and he rarely shows rattled emotion on the sideline. But this was one of those rare times where he had to absorb Kelce's energy directly. You could see Reid's face, calm, collected, but definitely engaged in keeping the situation under control. That's a sign of leadership. From the game flow perspective, it was clear that Kansas City wasn't executing the way they expect to. Missed opportunities, stalled drives, and a defense giving the Giants a chance to hang around, all of that added pressure. For veterans like Kelce who expect perfection, that kind of frustration builds fast. Add in national cameras and prime coverage, and you've got the recipe for a viral sideline clip. Here's a question for you. Do you think passion like this actually helps the team refocus, or does it risk throwing things off balance? Drop your take in the comments right now, because I want to see how Chiefs Kingdom reads it. And hey, if you're still watching, that means you're locked in with me. Do Me a favor. Hit that like button if you think passion is part of winning football, and subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. We're pushing for 5,000 subs, and every single click helps keep this community growing. Now that we've gone through what actually happened, let's talk about the fallout. Because the reactions came in fast. The moment between Travis Kelce and Andy Reid wasn't just a sideline blip, it became a headline. Major outlets jumped on it, calling the exchange heated, physical, and even shocking for a team usually known for stability. But here's the interesting part. Inside the Chiefs' locker room, the tone was much calmer. Reid himself quickly downplayed the situation, telling reporters it wasn't anything out of the ordinary. That's a classic Andy Reid move. Keep the focus on football, not drama. From his perspective, it's better to treat this like a normal player-coach moment and not give it oxygen. As for Kelce, he's been around long enough to know how quickly things can snowball. While he didn't dive into details immediately after, his demeanor suggested that he wanted people to see it for what it was: pure passion. And honestly, if you've followed his career, you know that fire has always fueled his game. Fans, on the other hand, were split. Chiefs Kingdom is full of people who understand that football is emotional, but some fans admitted they were surprised to see Kelce get that physical with Reid. Social media lit up with takes. Some saying, "This is leadership, showing how much he cares," while others worried it could hint at bigger frustration inside the offense. Even analysts outside of Kansas City weighed in. Some former players defended Kelce, saying, "You need that kind of energy in a locker room to hold people accountable." Others weren't so forgiving, pointing out that no matter how passionate you are, bumping your head coach crosses a line. That difference in perspective is what made this moment stick in the headlines, instead of fading away after the final whistle. So here's where you come in. Which camp are you in? Do you agree with Reid's calm take that it's no big deal? Or do you think this shows a deeper issue the team needs to address? Drop your answer in the comments, and let's see which side of Chiefs Kingdom you're on. And before we keep moving, let me hit you with this. If you haven't already subscribed, now's the time. This is your space for real Chiefs talk, no fluff, and the road to 5,000. Subscribers is ours to hit together. Smash that sub button, hit the like, and let's keep building this Chiefs community. So, what does this all really mean moving forward? That's the big question. Because while the sideline confrontation between Travis Kelce and Andy Reid made for viral headlines, the real story is about how the Chiefs handle it from here. First off, chemistry. One of the reasons Kansas City has been so dominant under Reid is the trust between him and his leaders, and Kelce is right at the top of that list. If there were real tension brewing, that would be a problem. But everything we've seen so far suggests this was a one-off, fueled by frustration in the moment. The body language after the game, the way both men carried themselves, it didn't look like something that would linger. Second, leadership. Kelce is a veteran, a future Hall of Famer, and the heartbeat of the offense outside of Patrick Mahomes. Passion is expected, but there's a line between passion and distraction. This could actually be one of those moments that reinforces his leadership if he and Reid use it as fuel. The best teams often take little flashpoints like this and turn them into teaching moments. Third, perception. Let's not ignore the fact that every NFL team knows the Chiefs are the standard. Anything that looks like a crack in the armor gets magnified, especially when it involves two of the most respected figures in the game. Other fan bases will use this as ammo, but internally, the Chiefs can use it to tighten the bonds even further. Looking ahead, it probably won't impact the season in any serious way. If anything, it reminds us that even dynasties deal with raw emotion. And honestly, if you're a Chiefs fan, don't you want your stars and coaches to care that much? I know I do. But let me throw this to you. Do you think this moment changes anything long-term for Kansas City, or is it just another fiery clip that will get buried once the team stacks a few more wins? Give me a yes or no in the comments, and back it up with your reasoning. And as always, if you're still here with me, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell. We're closing in on 5,000 subscribers, and every single one of you helps keep this channel growing. Drop a like too. It tells me you want more deep dive breakdowns like this. That wraps up today's video, but the conversation doesn't stop here. Chiefs Kingdom, you know the drill. Get in those comments and let's talk about it.